Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today, we're diving into a question that might have crossed your mind if you've ever visited Australia, or even if you've just seen a quirky travel documentary. Why on earth do some Australians walk barefoot in shops? It's a topic that sparks curiosity and, honestly, a little bit of confusion for many. Now, before we get too deep, let's set the scene. You're in a bustling Australian supermarket, or perhaps browsing through a charming boutique, and you notice someone casually strolling along, completely shoeless. It's not an everyday sight for most, and it definitely stands out. So, what's the story behind this seemingly unconventional habit? The truth is, it's not as widespread as you might imagine, and it's certainly not a universal practice. However, for those who do it, there are a few key reasons that often come up. One of the most frequently cited reasons is simply comfort and a connection to the environment. Australia, with its vast coastlines and generally warm climate, fosters a culture that often embraces a more relaxed, outdoorsy lifestyle. For some, being barefoot is an extension of that feeling, a way to feel more grounded and connected to the earth, even when indoors. It's about shedding the constraints of shoes and embracing a sense of freedom. Then there's the historical context. In many parts of Australia, particularly in coastal towns and rural areas, going barefoot was once a very common and accepted practice. It was a sign of a simpler time, where the lines between indoor and outdoor living were more blurred. While society has evolved, for some, this ingrained habit or cultural memory persists. It's a nod to a more laid-back past. Another aspect is a personal philosophy. Some individuals simply find shoes uncomfortable or restrictive. They might have sensory preferences, or they might just prefer the feeling of the floor beneath their feet. It's a personal choice, and in a society that generally values individual freedom, this is often respected. Now, it's important to address the practicalities and the common concerns. Many people immediately think about hygiene and safety, and you're right to consider those. Shops and businesses have a responsibility to maintain a safe and hygienic environment for everyone. In many places, including most retail establishments in Australia, there are actually rules or guidelines in place that require footwear for health and safety reasons. So while you might see someone barefoot, it's not necessarily a free-for-all, and many businesses will politely ask for shoes to be worn. The reality is, the number of people consistently walking barefoot in shops is quite small. It's more of a niche practice, often associated with specific communities or individuals who have a strong personal connection to it. It's not a trend that's sweeping the nation, but rather a quiet, personal choice made by a few. Ultimately, the why behind Australians walking barefoot in shops is a blend of comfort, a connection to a relaxed lifestyle, historical influence, and personal preference. It's a fascinating glimpse into the diverse ways people choose to navigate their environment and express their individuality. Thank you so much for joining me today to explore this interesting topic. I hope this has shed some light on the curiosity surrounding barefoot shopping in Australia. If you found this interesting, please consider following for more explorations into fascinating cultural quirks and everyday questions. See you next time.